Welcome, yogis. In today's class, we will be going through a Vinyasa flow focusing on promoting healthy digestion. We will be utilizing several asanas that involve spinal twisting, so this class will also be great if you have any soreness in the back or stiffness in the shoulders. No block is needed for this class, but if you do have any props, it's always a good idea to have them close by. So when you're ready, we're going to begin class today flat on our backs. When you arrive, stretch your legs out long. Hands can be at your sides, or for this first check-in, you can bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. Go ahead and just take a moment here to settle in and check in with how your body is feeling today. Maybe do a scan from the tips of your toes up through your legs to your hips, up through your chest to your head, looking for any areas of tightness, of tension, and just begin to breathe into those areas. Let's take a breath in and out here together, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Once more, let's inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Feel your torso expanding and contracting beneath your hands, if you have them, on your belly and on your heart. Expanding on the inhale and contracting on the exhale. Expansion and contraction. Take a few more breaths here. Now on your next inhale, begin to draw your right knee in toward your chest, squeezing it in, maybe squeezing it over further towards your right armpit. And go ahead and cross your right knee over all the way to the left for a supine twist. Your left hand can stay on your knee as you open your right hand out toward the side. Maybe you look over your right shoulder. Come back to center and draw both knees in and give them a big squeeze. Maybe rocking gently side to side to release through the lower back. Grab hold of your left knee and extend your right leg long, squeezing the left knee in like we did on the other side, maybe bringing it closer towards your left armpit. And go ahead and cross that left knee all the way over to the right. Maybe the right hand comes on top of the left knee as you open up your left hand out toward the side. Supine twist, maybe looking over your left shoulder. And breathe here. Come back to center, draw both knees in once more, giving them one more squeeze. From here, yogis, we're going to meet in tabletop pose, so you can go ahead and make your way there any way that works best for your body today. You can come up to seated, cross at the ankles, and come to tabletop pose. Hips over knees, shoulders over wrists, pushing energetically into your hands to flatten out through your back. Let's take a round of cat-cow. On your next inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your gaze, and exhale, round in. Come back to center, neutral tabletop pose, and from here we'll move into thread the needle on the right side first. On your next inhale, lift your right arm up to the sky, maybe look up, and thread the right hand underneath your body, bringing your right shoulder and your right ear to the mat. Right palm face up, and your left palm can be on the mat next to your head for extra support and balance. You can either stay in this pose here, or I invite you to start stretching out through your left leg and maybe hovering the left leg up off the mat. This is a challenging balancing pose. If you fall out, that's okay. It happens to us all. Breathe here. And release your left leg back down. Come back up to a neutral tabletop pose, and let's move into that thread the needle on the other side. This time lifting your left hand up to the sky, maybe look up, and exhale, thread that left arm underneath. Your left ear and shoulder come all the way down to the mat, left palm face up, and your right hand can stay next to your side for extra support. Start to straighten out through your right leg, back behind you, and maybe begin to lift and hover it up off the mat. Remember to breathe here. Go ahead and release your right leg down if you had it lifted, and go ahead and come back up to a neutral tabletop pose. Make sure your hips are stacked directly over your knees as you begin to walk your hands all the way out in front of you for our puppy dog stretch. Forehead comes down to the mat, nice big opening through the shoulders. Wonderful stretch through the chest. Come back up to your neutral tabletop pose. And from here, we'll come into our first down dog. So walk your hands just a bit forward and tuck through the toes as you begin to lift your hips up toward the sky. Bending through the knees, really just settling in here to this first down dog, stretching through the heels, stretching through the calves. Go ahead and begin to walk your hands back to meet your feet. Make sure your feet are about hip width distance apart, and just come into a nice Ragdoll Fold here. Maybe grabbing onto opposite elbows, letting the head sway, releasing through the jaw. Great. Great, now plant your left fingertips down on the mat. Put a nice bend into your left knee as you stretch and reach your right hand up to the sky. A nice little twist here in our forward fold. And exhale, release. Replace your right fingertips with your left. Let's go to the other side. Reach your left hand up toward the sky. Little bend through the right knee. And exhale, release both hands back down into your forward fold. Begin to walk your hands back out, returning to your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, on your next inhale, reach your right leg up toward the sky. Keep the hips square. And exhale, pull the right knee in and step the right foot between your hands at the front of the mat. We're going to be coming into our high lunge or crescent lunge from here. Keeping the back leg lifted, power through your right foot as you lift up and reach your hands up toward the sky into your high lunge. Make sure your knee is stacked over your front ankle. From here, spin down through your back heel and open up into Warrior Two. Nice big bend through your front knee. Arms out wide, palms face down. Maybe you gaze over your front middle finger. Eventually hoping one day our front thigh parallel to the mat. If it's not there today, if it's not there tomorrow, or anytime soon, that's okay too. Now straighten through your right leg and reach your right hand forward and up, reversing your triangle. Both hands reach back out to either side, and let's move into our full triangle pose from here. Reaching as far forward as you can with your right hand before bringing your right hand to rest on your front shin, a block, or maybe the floor, and your left hand is up and over. Maybe you begin to slowly and gently coax your head and your shoulders back to open up through the chest and the hips just a bit more. Bring your torso back up to center and come back into your Warrior Two, putting a nice big bend into that front knee once again. From here, spin on your back foot to come back into Crescent Lunge. So the ball of the back foot is on the mat with your left heel up. Nice big bend through that right knee, and your hands are reaching toward the sky. Let's bring our left hand down to the mat, keeping the right hand lifted for an easy twist. You can look up towards your right hand if that works for your neck. Otherwise, you can look neutral or down. Now bring both hands down to the mat on the inside of your right foot, setting up for a high lizard pose. Keep the back leg lifted if you can, otherwise it's fine to also release your knee down to the mat for this one. You can stay up on your palms or begin to release down to your forearms to come into our lizard pose. Just here for a moment, feel that nice big opening through your hips. If you were on your forearms, go ahead and come back up to your palm. Step the right foot back to meet the left and come into your plank pose. Hold here in plank for just a moment before releasing your knees down to the mat and coming all the way down to your stomach. From here we'll come into low cobra, lifting through the head and the chest, maybe lifting your arms up off the mat. And exhale, release. Meet back into downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, on your next inhale, lift your left leg up to the sky and go ahead and pull your left foot through between your hands. We'll set up for Crescent Lunge on this side. Keeping strong through your right leg, go ahead and power through your left foot and come up into Crescent Lunge, lifting your hands to the sky, making sure your left knee is stacked directly over your left ankle. Spin the back heel down and open up into Warrior Two. Deep bend through the front knee, arms out wide. Breathing here. Now go ahead and straighten through your left leg. Reach your left hand up to the sky and reverse your triangle pose. Keeping your front legs straight, reach your arms back out to the sides and we'll move into our full triangle from here. Reaching your left hand as far forward as you can before bringing it down to rest on your left shin, a block, or the floor. Right hand lifts. Maybe look up at your right hand, or you can have a neutral gaze out to the side or down at the mat. Whatever works for your neck today. Continue to try to push your head and chest back in line with your hips to open up through your chest just a bit more. Power through your core to come back up into Warrior Two. Put a big bend back into your left knee. Spin on the ball of your back foot to return to Crescent Lunge. Both hands lift up to the sky. From here, let's come into our easy twist on the side. Right hand down to the mat next to your left foot. Left hand lifts up to the sky. Now let's bring both hands in to the inside edge of that left foot, setting up for lizard on this side. You can keep the back leg lifted or the knee can come down to the mat, staying up on your palms or releasing down to your forearms. If you are on your forearms, come back up to your palms and step your left foot back to meet the right into plank pose. Keeping the elbows drawn in close to your chest, go ahead and lower all the way down once again, or you can come into Chaturanga halfway, low Cobra or upward facing on your inhale, and exhale back to downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, on your next inhale, reach your right leg up to the sky, and exhale, pull the right leg through, right foot between the hands, and come back up into your Crescent Lunge on this side. Right knee stacked over right ankle, hands lifting to the sky. Let's move into a twist from here, bringing your left hand forward and your right hand back, opening up through the chest, opening up through the spine. Come back to center, both hands lift. Bring both hands to heart center. From here, we're going to move into Warrior Three, standing on our strong right leg. Begin to bring your torso forward over your right leg and maybe begin to lift up and off through your left foot, hovering it over the mat. Shoulders away from the ears, nice lift through the chest, straight spine. Maybe lift your left leg just a bit higher. See if you can keep your left leg lifted off the mat as we transition from Warrior 3 to standing on our right leg, drawing the left knee in toward the chest. From here, we'll move into Eagle Pose, crossing that left leg up and over the right, maybe wrapping once or twice, putting a nice big bend through that right knee. Extend your arms out in front of you. Identify your right arm and swing it underneath your left, maybe wrapping once or twice as well. See if you can settle your hips down just an inch further. Release your arms and release your legs, bringing your toes together and sitting down into your chair pose. Sit the hips back, arms reach out and up in front of you. You should be able to see your toes in this pose. If you cannot, shift the weight back a bit further and settle your hips back and down. From here, bring your hands to heart center and we'll move into a twist. Bringing your left elbow up and over, resting on your right knee. Stay here with your hands at heart center, or you can open up, lifting your right hand up to the sky. Bringing your hands back to heart center, release back into your chair pose, and go ahead and stand, straightening through the legs, lifting the hands up to the sky. And on your exhale, fold all the way down, forward fold, hands to the mat. On your next inhale, halfway lift, hands come to your shins, flat back, and exhale, fold. Plant the hands and step the feet back into plank pose. Lower all the way down, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows close in. Inhale through to upward facing or low cobra. And exhale back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift through the left leg and go ahead and bring the left foot through between the hands, setting up for your crescent pose on this side. Powering through your left foot, go ahead and lift your hands up to the sky. We'll take that twist on this side, reaching our left hand back, right hand forward, opening up. Hands come back up to lift to the sky. Bring your hands down to heart center. Steady your balance as we move into Warrior 3. Strong through that left leg as we begin to tilt our torso forward, lifting the right leg up off the mat. Holding here for just a moment. We'll go ahead and come to stand on our left leg this time, bringing the right leg in toward the chest. Before we move into our ego pose on this side, we're going to wrap our right leg up and over the left, maybe wrapping the foot or ankle once or twice, settling our hips down, extending the arms out straight in front of you. Identify your left arm this time and wrap it underneath the right. Maybe sitting an inch lower in our ego pose. Go ahead and release the arms and release the feet, toes to touch, sitting our hips back into our chair pose on this side. Arms lift to the sky. Nice deep bend in the knees, settling the hips back. Hands come to heart center. This time our right elbow We'll lift up and over for our chair twist on the other side, keeping your palms together or opening up. Bring your palms back to heart center if they were not already. Go ahead and release back to chair. Lift your hands to the sky and straighten through the legs for our mountain pose. Exhale, fold, hands all the way down to the mat. On your next inhale, halfway lift, hands come to shins, flat back, and exhale, fold. Plant your hands and step back into plank pose, lowering halfway or all the way on your exhale. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog, and exhale back to downward facing dog. Go ahead and release your knees down to the mat and sit back into an easy cross-legged position. From here, we're going to move into half Lord of the Fishes pose, a great spinal twist. So you're going to keep your left foot in, moving it a bit closer toward your right sitting bone, and cross your right foot over. Your right foot is going to be on the mats, sole of the foot down next to your left knee, and your right knee is lifted toward the sky. Once here, begin to straighten up long through your spine, lifting both hands to the sky before twisting over toward your right. Your right hand can rest behind you and your left hand can be on the inside of your right leg. Continue to breathe, maybe on your exhales, twisting just a bit deeper. Go ahead and release back to center. From here, go ahead and cross your right leg all the way over. So your right knee and your left knee are stacked on top of one another, and both feet are out to the sides for cow face pose. From here, you can sit up tall with your hands on either foot, or for an additional hip stretch, you can begin to release forward. Arms stretching out in front of you, maybe your forehead coming down towards your knees. Go ahead and walk your hands back in if you were folded. Come back up to seated and release through the legs. We're going to move into half Lord of the Fishes on the other side. So this time your right foot will come in as close to your left sitting bone as you can get it before your left foot crosses over your right knee. Sole of the left foot on the mat, left knee pointing up toward the sky. Go ahead and sit up nice and tall, lifting through the arms, and before we come into our twist, on your exhale, bring your left hand back behind you, right hand to the outer edge of your left knee, maybe looking over your left shoulder. This pose is very beneficial at relieving bloating and constipation, as well as opening up through our spine. Go ahead and release that twist. Cross your left leg all the way over the right, so your left knee is stacked directly on top of your right knee. And both feet are out to the sides. Cow face pose on the other side. You can keep a long straight spine here with both hands on both feet. Or if you did so on the other side, I invite you to begin to fold forward, reaching your hands out in front of you, forehead coming down towards your knees. A nice big hip opening here. And breathe. Go ahead and come back up if you were folded forward. We're going to release our legs. Soles of the feet both come to the mat with your knees facing up. Sitting on your sit bones, straighten through the spine. We're going to come into boat pose here for just a moment. Start to shift the weight back onto your sitting bones. Hands can be on the backs of your thighs for support as you reach your shins parallel up to the mat. Holding here, or for extra challenge, you can begin to reach your fingertips towards your toes. From here, we'll come into low boat for just a moment, reaching the legs out straight, toes hovering just a few inches up off the ground, your shoulders hovering just a few inches up off the ground, hands still reaching towards your toes. Hold here for just a breath and release. Head comes to the mat, feet to the mat. Go ahead and hug both knees in. And give your lower back just a little bit of a massage here. Rocking side to side. We'll end class today with just a simple twist, reaching both hands out to either side. Maybe you can cactus your arms. Perhaps shifting your hips a bit to the left before dropping both knees over to the right. Come back to center. Let's move to the other side, shifting your hips a bit to the right, dropping both knees over to the left. Come back to center, squeezing both knees in toward the chest one more time. Maybe lifting your head up off the mat, trying to bring your forehead to your knees. Squeeze and release into your final Shavasana or Cobra pose. Legs out long, arms out wide, palms face up. Maybe begin to close down through the eyes or have a soft gaze. Check in with how you feel now versus how you felt at the beginning of class. Let's end class today taking a few deep breaths in and out together. Inhaling through the nose and let it go through the mouth. Once more, let's inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Nothing to do, nothing to manage. Give yourself these next few moments in stillness. As always, yogis, I invite you to stay in this final Shavasana for as long as your day allows. I want to thank you for joining me for this practice today. Be well. Namaste.